All right, so let's now look at solving a word problem using a linear equation. So now we're going to take kind of the knowledge we looked at in the last video about expressions and equations from real world situations. We're going to see if we can solve some more complicated word problems. All right, so let's take a look at this first one. It says that Alvin's age is 3 times Elga's age, and the sum of their ages is 108. So let's see if we can write, our goal here is what is Elga's age, okay? So let's see if we can write down what we know about this problem, okay? So we know that Alvin's age is 3 times Elga's age, all right? So what I want to do is I want to assign a variable to each of these. So let's assign an A to Alvin's age and an E to Elga's age. Okay, so mathematically speaking, if we just take just this section here, Alvin's age is 3 times Elga's age. That means that we can write A is equal to 3 times E. Okay, so that's something that we know, and we've written this down as some kind of expression. A is equal to 3 times E. We also know that the sum of their ages is 108. So if we isolate just this part, the sum of their ages is 108. We can write this as A plus E equals 108. Okay, we want to figure out what is Elga's age. Okay, so you might look at this and think, oh gosh, like how do you relate these two together to find this? It really isn't that bad at all. What we're going to do here is we're going to use this problem, or this expression here, or this equation here, and see if we can do a substitution into this equation here. So we know that A is actually equal to 3 times E. Okay, so if we take A is equal to 3 times E, we can actually rewrite A plus E equals 108 as 3 times E plus E is equal to 108. And that's because we're substituting in this 3 times E for this A here. Okay, so now we have 3E plus E is equal to 108, and this is actually going to give us 4E is equal to 108. So now we can go ahead and divide both sides of this equation by 4. Okay, and that's going to give us a cancellation of these 4 here, and we're going to have E is equal to 108 divided by 4, or we get 27, which means that Elga's age, Elga's age is 27. So 27 is going to be the answer to this problem. Okay, let's look at another one. Here it says, on Thursday, a local hamburger shop sold a combined total of 424 hamburgers and cheeseburgers. The number of cheeseburgers sold was 3 times the number of hamburgers sold. How many hamburgers were sold on Thursday? Okay, so let's start by seeing if we can assign some variables. It looks like we're dealing with hamburgers and cheeseburgers, all right? So let's do an H for hamburgers and a C for cheeseburgers, okay? All right, so the first thing we see here is that they sold a combined total of 424 hamburgers and cheeseburgers. So a combined total of these two means if you add everything up, that means there's 424 individual items were sold. So we can actually write this as an equation. We have H plus C is equal to 424. Okay, so that's one equation that we have. Then we have that the number of cheeseburgers sold was 3 times the number of hamburgers sold. So we know that C, the number of cheeseburgers sold, is 3 times the number of hamburgers sold. So we can write this as C is equal to 3 times H. Okay? And very similar to last time, since we know that C is equal to 3 times H, we can substitute in 3 times H into this C here. So we can rewrite this as H plus 3H is equal to 424. Or we get 4H is equal to 424. Now we can divide both sides of this equation by 4, which gives us h by itself. And we have h is equal to 424 divided by 4, which is going to give us 106. So that means that there were 106 hamburgers sold on Thursday. Okay? And let's just say for fun that you wanted to figure out the number of cheeseburgers as well. You could then take the total number of hamburgers and cheeseburgers together, right? You could do 424 minus 106, okay? And then if you subtract those, you're going to get 318. So C would also be equal to 318. But we want to know hamburgers, so we're going to be fine with just hamburgers. But if it had asked for cheeseburgers, that's how you'd find that as well. Okay, let's look at one more. Here it says a washer and a dryer cost $829 combined. Okay, the washer costs $71 less than the dryer. What is the cost of the dryer? Okay, so let's assign variables. We'll start here with W for washer and D for dryer. Or more specifically, W is the cost of the washer and D is the cost of the dryer. But either way. Okay, but then we know that together, combined, they cost $829. So a washer and a dryer cost $829 combined. So we can write this as W plus D is equal to $829. Okay. We also know that the washer costs $71 less than the dryer. So we know that the cost of the washer, W, is equal to the cost of the dryer minus 71. Okay, so what we can do here is that we can go ahead and take the fact that W is equal to D minus 71, and we can substitute this D minus 71 in for W. So we're going to end up with D minus 71 plus D is equal to 829. And so I guess I kind of, one thing I didn't mention in the previous two examples is the real goal of what we're doing here with this substitution is we're trying to turn an equation that has two unknowns, right? So here it's W and D, and we're trying to take as much information as we can from this problem to try to turn it into an equation with one unknown, okay? So with one variable. So here if we have two variables and that's all we have, it's pretty hard to tell what the cost of the washer and dryer is. But if we know a little more information, we can turn it into an equation that just involves maybe the cost of the dryer, or in another situation, like in the previous one, where it just involves the total number of hamburgers sold, for example, right? In either case, we're trying to narrow it down to one variable. That's our goal here. Okay, so when you do this substitution, your goal here is to just get one of the variables in an equation, and you can solve for that variable. Okay? So here we have D minus 71 plus D is equal to 829. So let's go ahead and combine our like terms. So if we have D and D, that's going to give us 2D minus 71 equals 829. So now what we can do is we can add 71 to both sides. Okay, and if we have 829 plus 71, that's going to give us 900. So if we have 2D equals 900, we can divide both sides by 2. The 2's will cancel, and then we're going to get D is equal to 450. So the dryer costs $450.